Yo, what is up, NBA fans? It's your boy Mike here, and after a very solid 3-1 start to the season for the Atlanta Hawks, I'm going to make a pretty bold statement. Well, one less bold statement and one that I think will be taken as a very bold statement, alright? First of all, I think the Atlanta Hawks are going to make the playoffs as the 8th seed. I've said this before, I think they're making it over the Washington Wizards or the Hornets or whoever else you may have breaking into the playoffs this year. That is my opinion, alright? And I don't think that looks crazy at all right now. However, my other statement, I think this one is going to be a little more controversial. I believe that the Atlanta Hawks are going to be the best offense in the entire NBA this season. And that's pretty crazy to think, just because they're not going to be like one of the best teams. Normally the best offense in the NBA, you'd think a team like maybe the Lakers, maybe the Celtics when they get Kemba Walker back, maybe even the Nuggets, who have a lot of offensive talent, or whatever team James Harden happens to be on. However, this year, I really do believe that it could be the Atlanta Hawks, and let me explain why, because this team is looking, frankly, just pretty much unstoppable on the offensive end. They're looking ridiculously good. They are currently, and mind you, very small sample size, but after 4 games, as I'm recording this, because they have not yet played the Nets tonight, they are 3-1, they're the best offense in the league, and they are leading the league in points per game with 128.8, which is also first in the NBA, okay? I think I just said that, but anyway, very good offensive team, and I'm going to go through their roster and explain why I don't expect this to change. There are obviously going to be some teams who are going to compete with this. I think the Lakers are the main competitor this season. They haven't had the world's greatest start to the year, but I expect them to get it together. They're probably still going to be the first seed in the West, and they're going to be a very, very good offense. However, I don't think they're going to be better than the Atlanta Hawks, so let's go through the roster. Let me explain why. First of all, you can't talk about this Hawks team without mentioning Trae Young, because the man has been absolutely ridiculous to start this season. 33 points and 8 rebounds a game. He's doing this on 51% from the field, only 35% from 3, and 90% from the free throw line on 16 free throw attempts a game. 16 free throw attempts a game. Those are some numbers that make James Harden blush. Okay, crazy amount of free throw attempts. And let me just say, Trae Young, his free throw attempts are not going to stay this high for the whole year. Okay, they're just not. 16 free throw attempts a game is not, it's just not reasonable to expect any player on this planet to ever average that many free throw attempts, at least not right now, okay? They're probably going to drop down to like 9 to 10 free throws a game, maybe even only like 8 free throws a game. They could be almost cut in half. However, he's definitely going to be at the top of the league in free throws this season, don't get me wrong, and if he averages 10 a game, I wouldn't be surprised. I just wouldn't count on him averaging more than 10, simply because that's kind of crazy, you know what I'm saying? I feel like at the start of the NBA seasons, most players average more free throws than usual, or not most players, but most really good players average a little more free throws than usual, for 2 reasons. The refs, first of all, tend to crack down at the start of the season on fouls. They try to, get the league under control or whatever when the season starts, and they're a little harsher with foul calls. And also, players are just a little rusty. You know what I'm saying? They're coming back after the offseason. They haven't played basketball in a couple months. Even with this being a short training camp, guys are rusty. And because of that, they're going to be a little less disciplined on the on the defensive end than they would normally be. So there's going to be a couple dumb fouls here and there every game that players wouldn't normally commit, but they are because they haven't quite gotten back into the swing of things. So what I'm saying is, Trae Young is going to be great at drawing free throws, but he's not going to be shooting that many of them. However, on top of the fact that he's still probably going to be close to leading the league in free throw attempts, he's still going to average a very large number of points. Now, not quite 33 points a game, simply because he doesn't need to, and we're going to get into that soon with the other players on his team. He has a lot of other great offensive players, some of who haven't been doing as much as you probably expect from them this early in the season, so the team, you just don't really see a guy averaging over 30 points a game when he's got great offensive help on his team, you know what I'm saying? Kobe Bryant's best scoring season. kind of playing with a lot of scrubs. You know, there was nobody else to shoot the ball. Same with a lot of Allen Iverson's great seasons. You know, Russell Westbrook in his MVP season, same thing, you know what I'm saying, alright? So I don't expect him to average 30 points a game. I would expect it to drop down to 27, 28. However, it's still going to be great because I expect his 3-point percentage to go up. Like I already said, he's only shooting 35% from 3 right now. And I don't think that that is how well Trae Young's going to shoot this whole year. I expect him to shoot something like 37, 38, maybe even 39% from 3 this season because we know he has the talent to do so. We know that Trae Young is a very, very good 3-point shooter, and I don't see why he wouldn't shoot that well from 3 this year. I just don't. It just seems kind of silly to me. Because now he has so much offensive help and guys to get him open, guys to take the pressure off of him. I really think his 3-point percentage is going to have a big spike in the next couple games, couple weeks maybe, and he's going to finish this season shooting much closer to 40% from 3, even if he doesn't quite reach that mark. The dude's just going to be really efficient this year. This is going to be a crazy year for Trae Young. And he honestly might really establish himself as like a top 20 player in the NBA this season. Now that's pushing it a little. Okay, don't get me wrong, he's still a terrible defender, so I'm not saying he will, but I'm saying he might, just because he is so very, very good on offense. But that's enough about Trae Young. Let's talk about some of his help on this team. First of all, his main co-star, John Collins. Dude's averaging 18.7 rebounds, doing it on 56% from the field. Very, very nice numbers. Only 27% from 3, however. And like Trae Young, I expect that 3-point percentage to actually go up throughout the season because, once again, this is a dude we know can shoot very well. He's a very good 3-point shooter. We know this guy can shoot something close to 40% from 3, and I expect his 3-point percentage to end up being above league average a couple months from now. So he might average even more points a game as he just starts hitting more of his threes. So John Collins is another dude who we haven't even necessarily seen at his best yet this season. And those are the two best players on this team, and this team is just stacked with offensive talent. They're not very stacked with defense, so let me go over one of their defensive guys, Clint Capella. He hasn't done great so far this season, only 7 points a game, even if it is on 50% from the field. I really expect his points to go up. They've got a lot of very capable passers on this team, Trae Young especially, but then you got guys like Reddish, Bogdan, Hunter, Kevin Huerter, guys who can definitely pass him the ball and get him lobs, and with all the spacing, he's going to have plenty of room in the post to be getting those offensive rebounds, getting putbacks, getting, basic lobs and dunks, just being a very good role-playing center, and I really would not be surprised if Capella ends up averaging something like, 12 points a game on this team, maybe even a tiny bit more, just because he's going to get so many easy points in the paint from the rest of the dudes. Also, he's going to be one of the two main reasons that this team isn't the worst defense in the entire league, even if they're not going to be good. It's him, and they have a rookie, Okongwu, I believe. I'm excited to see him play. He has not played yet due to an injury, but once again, another guy who's going to make their defense better immediately. Even as a rookie, we know he's going to be a good defender, and he's going to help the second unit of this team be a little bit better on defense. Speaking of the second unit, Kevin Huerter is now coming off the bench, and this is a great young player. He's got a lot of potential. He's shooting amazing from the field so far, 12 points a game. Great six-man for this team. In his place in the starting lineup, we have got Cam Reddish, who has not reached his potential yet, and I'm going to rush through these guys a little bit more because I'm trying not to make this video like 20 minutes long. There's just so much to talk about with this team in terms of offensive talent. It's crazy. Cam Reddish is a dude who I think may one day be the second star on this team, especially if John Collins ends up leaving next year because the Hawks don't give him the contract he wants. Cam Reddish has a ton of potential, and he's not quite there yet. He needs to keep getting adjusted to the NBA, but we saw last season what he could do at the end of the year, and I expect him to be very good this year. Just keep improving, Bogdan, very good pickup for this team. Not the world's worst defender, even if he's not good either. He's a pretty efficient player, just an all-around, very solid offensive option. Same thing with DeAndre Hunter, who might end up being a decent defender at some point, although it's a little too soon for that. Maybe he ends up being good enough in the backcourt to not let this be like a Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum level terrible backcourt. just a very interesting young player. He can definitely pass too. He's averaging 7 rebounds a game, which kind of surprises me, honestly. I didn't expect him to be getting a lot of rebounds. 12 points, very solid player. And the last guy to round out this team is Danilo Gallinari off the bench, who many people expected to be, including myself, the new starting player on this team. I figured they were going to shove him into the small forward spot, try to make it work, but they're not. They have him coming off the bench, and so far, well, first of all, so far he's shooting 75% from the field and 67% from 3. That's not realistic. That's not going to stay up. Also 100% from the free throw line. Like, this dude's going to miss some shots eventually, you know what I'm saying? But only 9 points a game. So while his efficiency is going to go down, I expect Gallo, we know Gallo can average almost 20 points a game on very good efficiency. He's done it before for the Clippers, he's done it for the Thunder, and even coming off the bench on this team, the dude's, he had a great interview where he said he didn't, it seemed like he really didn't have an issue going on the bench. And he mentioned how this team just has so much young talent and they're going to develop, and he doesn't care about his role, he just cares about winning games. And I got to imagine if you're the Atlanta Hawks front office, you could not have asked for anything better to hear from this dude you just signed to a pretty big contract, alright? Absolutely what everyone in the Hawks fan base wanted to hear Gallo say, and I expect him to average more points and just be a fantastic bench player for this team. They really are a deep offensive team now. Now, once again, their defense, it's not great. It's never going to be great, okay? Clint Capella and Okongwu, and, maybe, again, maybe DeAndre Hunter ends up being an okay defender. They're never going to be a great defensive team with this roster, but if they can just be not the very worst in the league, I don't see any reason this team wouldn't make the playoffs, and their offense is going to continue being elite. So long story short, due to the incredible amount of offensive talent on this team, the shooting, the passing, just the great amount of offense that this team can provide, I think this is going to be the best offense in the league, and it honestly might not end up being close. The only team I could really see competing with them throughout the season is the Lakers. And to be completely honest, I just think the Hawks have more overall offensive talent. Now, obviously, the Lakers are going to be a much better team because they're also going to be great defensively. But in terms of the regular season offense, yeah, this team's going to be amazing, and it's not even insane for me to think that they could be better than the 8th seed. Now, they're still my pick for the 8th seed in the East, but if they end up being like the 7th or 6th seed, I might not even be that shocked. I've been saying it for a few years now. This team has a really bright future, and they made a massive jump this offseason. I would really be surprised if they don't make the playoffs, and any team who's got to defend the Atlanta Hawks should really be freaking worried. Alright? So, that is all I had for this video today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. I'm very excited to keep watching this season. Happy New Year's to you all. Happy 2021. I hope it ends up being a better year than the previous one. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And keep checking out my content. I'm going to be trying my best to get back to making a video every single day, so I hope you all enjoy. Thank you for watching.